Once upon a time, it was a winter morning. In the village of Gimmelwald, at the foot of those peaceful mountains, little Alexander and his friends came to the playground in the center of the village to play the treasure hunt game again. The sacred treasure game was being played with two groups, and the other group was hiding the money collected by the two groups by writing 3 clues on a piece of paper, so that the team that was in turn to find the treasure that week would not find the treasure. The task of the other group was to find the sacred treasure by combining these clues. Little Alexander was always a group with his best friends Gabriel and Felix. Their opponents were Leighton and his friends. The weather was rainy and drizzling. "How about if we don't play today?" Alexander asked. Leighton sarcastically replied, "Of course, let's not play if you're afraid." "Okay," Alex said angrily. "You have 3 hours, and if you don't find the treasure after 3 hours, the treasure is ours," Leighton said. Leighton pressed the button of his chain watch and started the treasure hunt. Felix opened the tip sheet in his hand and read the clues. "When you come to the village center, it will take 100 steps towards the village store. Then 200 steps to the left from the lion-headed fountain that comes before you will be counted. You can search for treasure everywhere except the area behind you. Treasure code, sacred relic." Alexander and his friends quickly set about looking for the treasure. They followed the clues one by one and came to the area where they were supposed to look for the treasure. The treasure hunt game mission this time was harder than the game of Leighton and his friends. The area where they had to find the treasure was not small. They looked under every stone they could look at. With the last half hour left, Felix remembered the treasure code and said, "We have to go over this code." "What was the password?" Alexander asked. "Holy relic," said Gabriel. Just then the church bell rang and Alexander said, "Holy relic, right?" "They hid the treasure in the church," said Alexander. Alexander and his friends must hurry because they had short time. When they went to the church, the doors of the church were closed. "The church is not open." "Then they hid it outside the church," said Gabriel. They searched the garden of the church thoroughly, and again they could not find any trace. "They might have hid it in the bell tower," said Felix. They went up to the bell tower but still couldn't find the treasure. "Our time is up and we are defeated. Leighton will make fun of us again," Felix said. Their faces were pale as they descended the steps of the bell tower. The ground was slippery. Felix slipped and rolled down the stairs in pain. When Alexander and Gabriel approached Felix, they saw that his head was split open and he was bleeding slightly. Felix was crying in pain and was lying in the narrow space with her back slightly bent. His foot was stuck in the little hole at the foot of the wall next to the tower's starting staircase. Alexander was trying to pull Felix's foot, but he wouldn't come out of the hole, as if something had caught his foot. Gabriel looked at Felix's wound and saw that it was nothing too serious. Felix was screaming in pain because his foot was stuck in the hole. Alexander tried again and pulled Felix's foot out of that hole. However, a thick rope hung from the hole. It was this rope that prevented Felix's foot from coming off. "What's wrong with that rope?" said Alexander. "I tripped over this," Felix replied in a worried voice. Children are always curious, but Gabriel pulled the rope hard towards herself and the stones at the foot of the wall opened slightly. "What's that, dude? There's a hole in here," said Felix excitedly. Gabriel, with his usual cowardice, "Don't touch it! Don't touch it! They blame us," he said. "Anyway, it's just a secret between the 3 of us, so let's go now," said Alexander. These 3 friends went to the village square, knowing that their rivals Leighton and their friends would make fun of them. Leighton and his friends mocked them throughout the day. It was dark and everyone had gone home. As always, Alexander was intrigued, wondering what was behind that hole. He couldn't sleep at all. He picked up the gas lamp that was burning in his room and came to Felix's and then Gabriel's house. When Gabriel saw Alexander in the dark of the night in his white pajamas, at first he thought he was a ghost, so he closed the window and threw himself inside. When Alexander failed to summon Gabriel, he threw a stone at Felix's window and Felix opened it. "Dude, get your gas lamp urgently and come outside, we need to talk," said Alex. Felix closed the door and went out without waking the people in the house. "Why did you call me at this time of night, my friend? Did something happen?" asked Felix. "Yes, dude, you and me and Gabriel must find out what's behind that hole tonight. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep," said Alexander. "Okay man, let's call Gabriel," said Felix. Then they went to call Gabriel together. With difficulty they persuaded Gabriel to go out, but when Gabriel heard the idea, he showed his cowardice again. "No man, I can't come to the church. Are you crazy? There are cemeteries there. Do you want to summon evil spirits?" said Gabriel. "I don't want any objections, Gabriel. We have to see what's out there tonight or I can't sleep. If we're friends, you should come with us, man," said Alexander. As Gabriel values friendship so much, he was compelled to go. What would these three treasure hunters find behind the stones that were parted? You will learn about this in the second episode. Thanks for listening.
English Rhapsody is an English developer channel that tells English fairy tales for children. You can support us by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. English Rhapsody Language School.